all.
Shout out Kato. All right. And the other man sitting to my left is Cash Money AP, man. Talk to the people.
What's up? I'm CashMoneyAP. I'm a producer, and that's it. Let's get it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so we're going to dive right in here. I mean, I think the easiest thing we could do is just say, okay, this is what you need to do on social media. Sure, we can talk about a ton of different tactics, but before we do that, I really want to dive into what you need to do before you even get on social media. And to me, that's branding, knowing your style, knowing your social media voice, knowing your audience, and how to find that audience. So I'll start with Kato. Where did Kato come from? Like, how did you brand Kato? Your tag sticks out, that's branding. So how did you take all that and mold it and become who you are and then utilize that on social media and get people to recognize you?
Well, I mean, it definitely didn't happen overnight. It was just a process of, I mean, for my tag, for instance, that's Jaron Benton's voice. And I work with him, you know, he's probably my top artist that people know me for. And so we kind of came up together, crafting our sound together, and he just said it. I think it was a song that we had called Shut Up, Bitch. And he just said it in the beginning of the song, and I just ended up using that as my tag. But you know, as far as branding and the big picture, like, it wasn't really a conscious effort. I just kind of figured out my lane and figured things out literally as I went along, and kind of found my niche through the whole Funk Volume situation and working with the artists that I work with and just the people that I gravitate towards on a personal level. And that just kind of became my brand and my image and what I stand for, you know?
Okay. Cash Money, same question for you, man. Like, where did Cash Money AP come from? Like, where did the branding come from? And I'm sure everybody wants to know is where your tag came from. And I've heard it about 1 billion times since I've been here, which is super dope. So, like, how did you brand yourself first, then be able to utilize social media and other lanes to, you know, get your voice and your beats out there?
That's a funny story, because I was in like focusing on music. My CashMoneyAP name came from I'm from the island, the Caribbean. And there was an artist that was popping at this time. His name was Cash Money Debria. Debria means like somebody that can do it by himself. And then I was like, shit, I'm going to get the Cash Money and use the AP. AP is my name, my real name, so I put like Cash Money AP. And for my voice tag, it came from I don't know, that was a random website that I went to. I just asked like somebody to say Cash Money AP, and they sent me like the baby voice tag, and then I put the effects on it, and that's why it sounds like Cash Money AP.
It works, man.
Yeah,
it catches my ear. So, kind of circling back to the original question, but going more in depth. So, Kato, like, how would you define your brand? Like, how would you define, like, what do you consider your style, your sound, like, if you had to describe it to everybody in here, like, and then how did you take that and, like, go and find that kind of, like, the beat selling audience, more or less? I know the Funk Volume stuff you did, you guys built that, but now, like, a beat selling level, like, who you going after before we jump into, like, how you're actually doing it? Like, you know, how are you finding that core, like, target audience?
Yeah. Well, so I think the funny thing about branding and finding an audience is that they kind of find you. And I think a lot of the audience that follow me on social media or know about my music found out about me through the artists that I've worked with. So that was just me putting in the time and energy to really build my sound with specific artists. And through that, I was able to sort of find my lane and my sound and what people appreciated about my music. So just keeping that in mind while still trying to push the envelope and challenge myself to try new things, but still maintain that kind of integrity of what my sound is. It's a tricky thing sometimes, but I always encourage producers to push your sound, experiment as much as possible, you know, like work with as many different artists as you can. Like, it takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of time to kind of find your lane and your sound. You know, no one comes out the gate just having their own distinct sound. You know, it takes time. So yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't a conscious effort. It just kind of happened.
Okay. Cash Money, is that kind of the same with you? Or, I mean, or did you have a distinct plan in place? Like, okay, this is the sound I'm going for. I'm going to go after these type of targeted audiences on social media. Or, I mean, kind of how did everything? You found out your name. You found out how that came apart. But how did you kind of build this beat business?
At first, I wanted to go industry directly. That's why I started working with like Chicago rappers, from Chicky to Lil Durk, like everybody in Chicago. But then I was saying like I don't see any income from what I'm doing. So I told myself I should go on YouTube and create my own YouTube channel because that's where the money is. Then yeah, I went on YouTube and I started like dropping like, you know, the old type beats that they were doing in 2013. I remember that was what were they doing? Chris Brown type beat, you know, Ayaz, you know, you remember of Ayaz? They do it called Ayaz? Yeah, see. Then I stopped for like a year and I tried to go back again to the industry. And then I deleted everything, and in 2015, I restarted again with like my first type beat, if I remember, was Ray Shrimmer. Yeah. And then I kept going, and then I saw that the beat that made me blow up was a free beat. So I said, why I should like keep going and drop free beats. And then I blew up of free beats. But then there is a way to make money off your free beats, and thanks to BeatStars, we can do it.
Well, you brought it up, so let's talk about it. How you doing free beats and making money? Can you break it down real quick?
With BeatStars, we can do the content ID. With the content ID, that means to say, if I drop a free beat, somebody use it, drop it on YouTube, I can get the monetization for it, thanks to BeatStars.
Thanks, Dave. So we brought up YouTube, so let's talk about YouTube. Where did you guys start with YouTube? You kind of just touched on it, Cash Money. But Kato, where did you kind of start with YouTube, and what are you doing currently with YouTube to actually like promote your beats, promote your brand, and kind of just build that audience and have a place kind of to house all that information and analytics to, you know, to keep building your brand?
Yeah, I started my YouTube channel, I think, back in 2008, somewhere around there. And back then, I was definitely not selling beats online. I was actually probably rapping at the time. So if you jump on YouTube, you might be able to find some Kato bars.
Kato type bars.
Kato type bars. So that's what got me started in the whole YouTube thing. And I kind of just chilled on YouTube for a good number of years after I just started sticking with production. And, you know, I recently, around the time that BeatStars kind of came out, I started uploading my beats onto my YouTube channel. But I do a lot of different things. Like I don't just sell beats online. I have a online mentorship program called Beat Club for producers. I work with a lot of different artists, kind of exclusively. So I have my hand in a lot of different things. So the name of the game for me is just creating good content. You know, it's not strictly just uploading beat videos to my channel. I mean, I upload, you know, advice and tips, exactly what we're doing here. You know, uploading advice for producers and artists. And I just believe in putting good content out there and letting people, you know, tell me what they think about it, you know. And I still do that today. So I don't restrict myself to any specific type of content when it comes to YouTube. I just try to create the best content that I can.
Absolutely, content is key. Cash Money, same question for you, I guess. What kind of when did you start? I mean, you kind of broke down how you started with YouTube, but like, what are you doing now? Like, how are you utilizing the platform to kind of help drive sales, awareness, brand awareness, stuff like that?
Right now I'm trying to go into like a YouTuber way, like, you know, be a producer, sell your beats, but do it like in an entertaining way, so you can attract like a new audience. I don't know, is audience English? Yeah. So I can attract a new audience because, you know, YouTube is like blowing up. I saw that there is like a lot of producers, upcoming producers on YouTube. It's kind of oversaturated, but the thing is, there is a key. If you're different, you're gonna grow and blow up. If you're different, that's the key. That's the key to blow up, is to be different. I saw producers doing like entertaining videos and they all blowing up of this. Then if you blow up of this, like you're different, you do this, then that's gonna be easier for you to sell beats after that. Because you're gonna have a fan base based off the entertaining videos that you do. But then maybe on this fan base, you got rappers looking at you like being like, oh yeah, like him. Can you drop like beats so I can like see if I can buy them and everything? So that's the key to me. That's to be different and go on the different way because everybody's doing the same thing on YouTube right now.
No, true. So being different is key, and that kind of circles back around to finding like your brand and your brand's voice and kind of like who your audience is and knowing what you want to do. And as you develop, you learn more, like Kato said, and you develop in the, you know, having different sounds and finding new fans and stuff. But so you sound different. You're uploading stuff to YouTube. What are some other ways that you can actually kind of get ahead of the curve by tag words, good keywords, titles, stuff like that? Like, are you guys utilizing like that type of stuff? And we'll jump into kind of like the Google AdWords stuff after that. But are you guys doing any of that stuff? Like, how are you kind of getting ahead of the curve on top of having a good brand and good beats? CashMoneyAp, I'll start with you this time.
When it comes to keywords, I like to use like, if I drop like a Yuntug type beat, I like to use everything about Yuntug. Like all the keywords about Yuntug. I will also put keywords on the description. But that's all I do. When it comes to like promotion, I used to do AdWords before, but I stopped because it's not really working anymore. And yeah, that's it. I just like to have like, you shouldn't like try to go too much with the keywords, like just like to be like super like if you drop like a Yuntug type, you just put something about Yuntug. You shouldn't put like something about like Lil Yachty or something that is popping right now, just like Yuntug, like go on Yuntug. I can't explain, you know, I'm trying to, but
I got it. Kato, yeah, same question. I mean, like, what are you doing any of that stuff?
Yeah, I recently started using a tool called TubeBuddy.
That's on my list, and I'm sure you saw it. But yeah, go ahead.
I saw that and I was like, that's crazy because I use the same thing. TubeBuddy is a great tool and it's a subscription. Like you pay what, $5? It's super cheap.
There's a free version too. Just everybody put that down. TubeBuddy. Like YouTube, tubebuddy.com, and check it out. But go ahead, break it down.
And I found that super helpful. It's basically like a tool that you can use for your YouTube channel that helps you target specific keywords that people are searching. It'll help you, figure out the strength of the keywords that you're using and how often people are searching for them. It'll even suggest like specific keywords for you depending on, the title that you use. So just little tools like that I found super helpful in maximizing the effectiveness of my uploads. So I definitely recommend you guys check that out too, buddy.
And if you're posting beats online, specific beats, you got obviously in the description you want to have your call to actions to go directly to purchase that or lease that beat, stuff like that. I mean, I think that's kind of known, but just wanted to say it. Yeah, so let's talk about.
It's like a party outside.
No,
damn.
what is going on? So are you guys doing anything with Google AdWords? I know Cash Money just said he's kind of stopped doing it, and if you are doing them, kind of like what is your strategy? And I kind of have like my own 2 cents on some stuff, so I kind of want to see what you guys thought. So Kato, what are you using Google AdWords?
I've experimented with Google AdWords a little bit. I kind of got mixed results just experimenting with different types of, I played with it like during my contest as well, which I guess we can talk about later. But yeah, I mean, I've seen mixed results. I'm definitely more comfortable with Facebook ads over anything. So I probably spend the most money on that.
So, I mean, with the Google AdWords, like when you were doing them, both you guys, what were you targeting specifically? Like just, we don't have to go too far in depth, but just really quick, like what actually were you targeting, like to kind of like put these ads out there? Cash Money, if you want to start with you, because I know you said they weren't really working. So do you remember like what you were targeting and going after? Because I'm sure there's other people doing it. Maybe they're having the same issue.
To be honest, I was targeting everything. I wasn't like looking for like a specific like topic or domain to target, but I was like targeting everything. And I think that the way I was getting good views of this. Like I got one of my videos, I put like a $20 budget a day, and I got like 30,000 views in like a couple hours because of the thumbnail was different. So that's how I started using it after that. But then I didn't think about like the different like people that I could like reach with it, like if I should like go this way or go this other way. I was just like looking for everybody, and it worked for me. So, but then after that, everybody started using it, and to me, it started like being like over, like I would say, started ready to me because everybody was using it, and as I wasn't putting a lot of money in it, it wasn't going to work well for me anymore.
So, I mean, if I was selling beats, this is what I would do, and you could probably call me really sneaky, but we all agree that it's got kind of congested on YouTube, right? So like YouTube and Google AdWords has a placement, they have a search replacement option, right? So you can actually take YouTube videos and punch them in the Google AdWords, and you can target specific videos. So like what says like you can't find people who have a similar beat? Like say you have a J. Cole type beat or you have a J. Cole sounding type beat, and you find all the people that are making those beats and running ads on their videos, and you just target all them. So before their video even plays, your stuff is playing, and you're kind of like stealing that traffic to yourself. I mean, is that like a strategy that anybody has used here? Or I mean,
I've done it.
You've done it? See, that's what I'm saying. See, good, similar minds think alike, man.
Yeah.
And has it been successful at all? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to the product. And for anyone that was here yesterday watching me speak on the panel, I talked about that a little bit, but it comes down to the product, man. And our product as music producers is the music, the beats. So, maybe certain beats that I was promoting weren't connecting with that audience as much as I thought they would, or the ones that I had good luck on, they were just good beats, good placements, and the right videos. You know, there's like a lot of different factors that that you have to consider when it comes to advertising, and you know, so I guess that's why it was kind of hit or miss for me.
Okay. But it's stuff like that you got to think of, right? You agree, sure. Like you got to be kind of ahead of the curve to get
absolutely
through all the traffic. I mean, this is stuff we should be thinking about. And just to go back on kind of like the tags and stuff too, like we run a beat channel too, so we do kind of all the same stuff I think some of the producers are doing. And you know, it's not just about going in and typing in Young Thug beat. You know, you can do different variations of like Young Thug beat 2017, 2018. Think of the future when people are looking for a Young Thug check type or whatever the song names are, you know what I mean? Whatever the songs are, you can do different variations. So try to switch things up, I think, too. And I'm sure you guys are doing this. Just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, so I know you just mentioned Facebook. And I've heard like the pixel word thrown around like a billion times. I wish we could do like a demo of like pixels, and that's definitely something for the future. Just quickly, you know, break down like how you use Facebook and you know, kind of what you said you like it better than YouTube, so obviously the return is better. So like kind of like, give us your like how you got into it and kind of your process of how you do it.
So actually, Abe introduced me to the Facebook Pixel. You know, when I first started selling beats online, which I still consider myself pretty new to that whole game, but I had known Abe for a while, and so I would call him periodically and just ask him to like give me some tips or advice on how to up my beat selling game. And one night he told me about Facebook Pixels, and I was like, I've never heard of that. What is that? So he kind of broke it down to me. It's essentially a piece of code that you embed on your website, and it's like a tracker. So it tracks all the traffic that comes through your website, and through Facebook ads, you can retarget that same audience. So it's hugely effective in retargeting your customer base that have, I mean, they don't even need to have bought beats from you in the past. Like if they were just on your website, that means that they showed some level of interest. So you can retarget those people, and you know, the more they see your ads, the more likely they are to buy eventually. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So that was a huge thing that kind of helped me up my game, is using the Facebook Pixel ad. And then every time I run a Facebook ad, you know, come out with a new beat video, then I'll retarget those same people, and it's kind of like a cycle. So as long as you continuously drive traffic to your website and then use the Facebook pixel and retarget, then it's like a cyclical effect. So yeah, it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, I mean, the pixel is amazing. You can do some incredible stuff with it. So there's also stuff within the ads manager on Facebook. If, say you run an ad, right, and you're driving people to your website to buy beats, and say 50% of them click the link. So now you have that pixel traffic. But say 50% didn't click the link, but maybe they liked it or commented. So there is a way to go after those people too. Facebook offers custom audiences where you can go on the back end and you can actually scrape information from posts, ads, videos. You can literally pick if you want to go after people who have watched 25% of your video, 50% of your video. I think that's something that's huge. So if you're not getting that traffic right away and you're only running ads to your pixel audience, you might be missing the people who were like, yeah, this is dope, let me like it, maybe comment, but I'm not going to click. Build that audience and build that scrape, and you're going to have a whole separate audience. So then you can actually be running different ad sets where you'll be going after your pixels, you'll be going after kind of like the people who interacted with your old content, and then you're obviously going after new people as well. All this stuff, guys, like make sure you write down facebook.com/blueprint. They offer courses for free. Like, it's another job, you got to learn it, but I mean, if you really want to be successful, pretty much marketing anything online with Facebook, it's just take the courses, man. Just take an hour every couple days or whatever it is that you can do, and just learn the stuff, and it's all free. And you actually get not plaques, but like different like successes and awards, like saying you've accomplished certain things. So it's pretty cool.
Mike, I just want to interrupt real quick. Yeah. I know we're talking about like advertising, and that's okay. It's an essential part, but some of the stuff that Kato specifically I've seen do on Facebook in regards to creating these like video memes, as well as like outlandish mashups between bringing back classic songs and reintroducing that music video with his beat on it. Like he has the nerve to make a beat around a Dr. Dre song, right? Or you know, and you know what? He starts this discussion of people that are nostalgic around that old beat, and like, how dare you create a 2017 version of this Dr. Dre beat or whatever song he's picked. Kato, I really want you to touch on that, man, because that has driven so many, like millions of plays, a huge discussion board on Facebook about it, and how has that affected the way the audience is like looking at you as a beat maker and producer?
Yeah, so that idea just came about by me, again, trying to think of creative ways to create new content. And so me as a producer, I mean, the biggest thing that I have is my beats and my production. So I thought it would be cool to take old classic songs and remix them and throw my own kind of twist on it, like a 2017 modern take on a classic record. And so the first one that I did was Forgot About Dre. And so I found the acapella, and I had this beat, this piano loop that I created, and I knew right away that it would be perfect. So all I had to do was just go back and Reason. I'm a Reason user, so I went back into Reason, just adjusted the tempo a couple BPM. It was just a couple BPM off, and I uploaded it to Facebook, and it fucking exploded. Like, I didn't put any money into like advertising or anything, but
that's when you know you're really doing stuff the right way.
Yeah, I mean, just like Abe said, it created this discussion, and I knew it would be a good idea because a lot of my followers and fans are huge, like Eminem fans, huge Dr. Dre fans, and I'm a huge, I mean, Dr. Dre is probably in my top 2, if not number 1. So I knew it would kind of create a discussion, but I didn't know it would take off like that. So to this day on Facebook, it's gotten millions of views, and that happened, you know, extremely quickly. And so I kept doing that, and it's kind of like a monthly thing that I do, you know, every month. I just drop a new remix.
And no content ID, Facebook issues from nothing? You've seen nothing? Just
nothing.
Curious.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if they flagged for the acapellas. I'm just curious. That's insane. Like, that's so out of the box
and
thinking.
I'm just interrupting because I feel like it.
Yeah, whatever. Sit down.
So, Cash Money, you do these Periscope sessions, and he's in the lab on Periscope, and hundreds of people, if not thousands, tune in live, and he's like, send me your fucking beats, and I'm gonna tell you if your shit's whack or not. And, or not in that way, right? But in a way where like, I'm gonna give you some constructive criticism. And he's super positive about like, reviewing these people, these, you know, up and coming producers of music and beats. I want you to touch on, why did you decide to do that? One, and have you discovered any talented producers through that channel on Periscope, on your live streams, and have you worked with those people after finding them? That's it. And then I'm done. And then that's it.
Sure.
Yeah, I did this because I like to listen to new music, you know, and especially because I wanted to work with new people. So yeah, I probably contacted like, I would say like 20 of those guys from my Periscope so we can make collabs, especially so I can send them to rappers. Because there is really a talent that is like, need to be like discovered. So with those Periscope, it was easier for me like to ask them to send me beats so I can listen right now, so I can tell them what I think about it, so they can like see what they have to improve and what I can get from them. Like if I hear like a good ass beat, I'm like, damn, if I had that beat, I could put my sauce on it and like send it to this person, this rapper. It would be like fire for me and fire for the other producer, because it's gonna be like a good look for him. It's gonna, if like, I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, if you get this beat with this dude, people are gonna be like, oh, where is he? So those people are gonna be like, oh, I need to go to YouTube to see if he's like, to see if he got a YouTube channel, to see if he got all the beats like this. So they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he got it. Oh, does he have a website so I can buy the beats? Oh yeah, he got a website. Let me buy the beat. And that's how I wanted to do it. Yeah, that's nice to do it, and that's fun to like to listen to other people's beats.
Absolutely. So I'll start back with you, Cash Money. Like, what is your favorite social media platform? Like, is it Periscope? Is that kind of like where you gravitate to when you kind of want to dive in and engage with your followers and, you know, your fans and your customers? Or is there something else you like to do?
I like Periscope because they like to make fun of my accent. But I usually like, I would say once a month, so I can do like, because they ask me too much when I do like Periscope.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, do you have a social media strategy? Is there something that you say, okay, I'm gonna get on Periscope once a month, I'm gonna go on Instagram and post once a week? I mean, do you have because I get this question all the time as a social media manager, like, what's the strategy? And I tell people it's brand based. Like, there's not just like this uniform thing that like, okay, you need to post 5 times a day at this time and this time and this time. So like, what have you found? Because I looked at your Instagram, I looked at your social media, and being someone who's very involved with it, I notice you're a little bit more mysterious. You're kind of, you know, you don't post as much as some people. Maybe it's not as much as Kato and other producers. Kind of like, how has that worked out for you? Like, do you have a strategy, or is just kind of like you're just kind of doing it and knowing your audience and knowing when you should post stuff?
To be honest, I don't have any strategy.
No strategy? Okay.
When I do like a Periscope, I'm like, oh, I'm done with this beat. I don't have anything else to do, so let me do a Periscope. But I like to do it like, you know, I live in LA, so around like 3 or 4 p.m. because it's already like, I still got the, you know, the Caribbean like time in my head. I'm like always thinking about like, what time is it in the Caribbean right now? Because in the Caribbean, that's like the same time as Miami. So I'm like, yeah, Miami, it's like, if it's like 4 in LA, it's like 7
so
in Miami.
So you do have a strategy. See? You don't even know it. You do have a strategy though. This is good. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I don't really like to post on Instagram. I like to keep it like super rare, you know?
You're mysterious, man. So there is a strategy. It's a mysterious Caribbean time strategy. So there is a strategy here though. So Kato, same question, man. Like, what is your favorite platform? What is your strategy if you have one? Again, I think everyone does have one, even if they don't know it.
Yeah.
Kind of like dive into that.
So my strategy is just to post as much good content as possible, as often as possible. And it's really helped me grow my social media channels. I like using Twitter to just throw out quick rants, quick little thoughts that I have. It's super easy to just jump on Twitter and just post it. And I like Instagram for engaging with people. And I do this thing on Instagram called Hook Me Up Kato, where I give away something every time I post. So I ask people to turn on notifications for my Instagram account, and every time I post something, as soon as I post, I tell people to use the hashtag HookMeUpKato, and I pick one person and I send them a free t-shirt or send them an autographed CD or a free poster, or, you know, I come up with like specific merchandise just for that purpose. And so it builds a lot of engagement on my channel. I even give away free beats on my Instagram account. So I really like Instagram for engaging with people, just kind of keeping them updated on what I have coming up and stuff like that. And Facebook has, I won't lie, Facebook has kind of fallen off a little bit for me, just because I feel like
those algorithms,
the reach has just dropped so much. I've noticed every time I post something. So really, Facebook is only around for me just because I still use Facebook ads, which I find super helpful. And YouTube, just creating good video content, which also I use YouTube as like a sales and marketing strategy as well, because in posting good content, you can also drive traffic to your website. You know, people are interested in finding out more. If they want to ask you questions or just find out like what you have going on, then they're going to click on whatever's in the description, you know? So I found that also a good tool.
And again, driving all those people to your website. Pixel is fired. It doesn't matter if they don't come from Facebook. They can be coming from anywhere. If they have a Facebook account,
right,
it's going to fire, and you can target those people with your Facebook ad. So
yep,
that is key for sure. So we talked about advertising and stuff. I mean, I know probably things are a little bit different now than they were when you started. But like, kind of give everybody an idea of like what you spent maybe starting out, like on like with an advertising budget each month, or 60-day period, however you want to break it down, and kind of where you're at now, and kind of like the return. We don't have to dive into specifics of how much money and stuff you're making, but kind of just like an average return, like a 2 times, 3 times. Like, I'm kind of curious, like, you know, how well is this working for you to drive traffic with these ads?
How much money you spend in cash money?
Yeah, how much? Yeah, your cash money, man.
Yeah, when I was using AdWords, it was around like 1,000 a month. Yeah, but you know, I would be honest, I was super ignorant. So I was like, yeah, the more I spend, the more views I'm gonna get.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
You've learned it though, yeah.
So I learned from it, and then I stopped doing it, and I saw that without using AdWords, I was doing the same amount of views, and that was just like a perception. You're gonna do like 1,000 or 2,000 more views with AdWords, but without it, it's like the same thing. If you don't put like a big budget behind it, like me, I mean 1,000, that's like a lot, but it wasn't a lot for AdWords. So that's how I feel.
Are you using? I don't think we even asked you about the Facebook. Are you doing anything on Facebook or no? You're
not at all.
You don't do no? Wow,
no.
that's crazy.
We're gonna change that.
Yeah. He'll be like super billionaire Cash Money AP after that. Kato, man, same question. You know, kind of where did you start? I mean, it takes. If anyone has never done advertising, it is it's a lot of testing. It is sometimes a little bit of guesswork up front, and just kind of really looking at stats and analytics and figuring out. So it's probably smarter to start with a little something smaller, kind of test markets out, do your split testing and all that type of stuff. Kind of like, where'd you start? Where you at? I mean, if you're doing it, it must be working. So just kind of like dive into that.
Yeah, I started out small, just throwing $20, $50 into an ad and see if it generated any sort of return for me. And that's before I knew where to find any of the analytics for Facebook. I was just, let me see if this works, and just threw 20, 50 bucks into it. And you know, as you go along, you learn certain things and you figure out what works. And it's like Mike said, it's just a process of trial and error. And in the last 6 months, I mean, literally right before I came to this panel, I ran a Facebook ad for one of my new beat videos. But I think in the last 6 months, I've spent over six grand on Facebook ads. And obviously I keep doing that because it's generating a return for me. So, you know, I've finally gotten to that point where I'm comfortable with, you know, putting $100, $200 into a single video campaign. And, you know, you'll learn things along the way. So it's another thing that you can experiment.
Yeah, like I said, the Facebook.com/blueprint. You can also go on YouTube. There's so many tutorials. Just learn this stuff because it's only going to help you. And if you don't learn it, you're going to hire someone like me, and I'm going to take a percentage, and you're going to be spending more money. Let's talk about like newsletters and stuff. Kato, what's your newsletter look like? What's your subscriptions look like? I mean, how are you utilizing that to kind of drive for sales, or you have a new contest out? Like, how are you using that, and kind of how is that working for you?
I just use the email newsletter, the email blast to stay in touch with people, stay in touch with my customer base, send them free promo codes, update them whenever I have a new beat that drops. So it's really just another way on top of social media to engage with my customer base. And so, it's proven to also be effective for me, especially with promo codes and buy one, get one free and stuff like that. But this was actually something that Cash Money and I were talking about right before the panel started. I'll let
dive in.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I just told him that I don't use newsletters. I don't use this.
What is it? What does it do?
He doesn't use them.
Yeah, I
You don't use newsletters at all?
No, which is crazy.
Wow.
But it just goes to show, like, everyone has a different strategy.
Yeah,
you just have to figure out what works for you. And, what works for me may not work for some of you guys. So, experiment, try everything. Literally try everything that you can possibly think of until you figure out what works for you.
Also, too, with newsletters, say you get, it takes time to build up your newsletter. Say you get 5,000 subscribers. You can also export your followers' emails out of whatever platform you're using for your newsletter. And again, with Facebook's custom audiences, you can actually upload all those emails into that. And if they have a Facebook account that is associated with that email, it will put them in a file too. So you can literally do it that way too and target them that way as well. So again,
one thing I want to stress is that please do not use email newsletters to spam people.
Yes, absolutely.
That is the worst possible thing that you could do. I literally, whenever I send a newsletter through email, I try to make it as personable as possible. Just like a very honest, candid discussion like I'm having with you guys right now, I literally word it the same way, just in text. So, spamming people and sending them like 10 emails in a week, that's not what you want to do with email newsletters. And same thing with social media, same thing across every platform. I mean, spamming people with your links and stuff like that is the worst thing that you could do, literally.
Yeah, I just had somebody message me right before this and just added me and said, I need a record deal, call me, and gave me his phone number. Like, it's just, there's various spamming ways. It's sending links and just, don't do it. Here's something that's kind of I don't want to say newer, but it is definitely new. You guys experimented with any social media influencing at all? Have you ever worked with somebody, say a model or say a sports player? This is becoming a big thing now where people are actually paying people on social media so you have a beat you're trying to sell and you have somebody dancing to it that has 3 million followers and then leaves the link to drive people there. Have you guys experimented with anything like that, or even had people approach you with your followings to kind of work stuff out that still is kind of promoting your brand and your beats? Cashman, I'll start with you.
I did have a French friend that is a YouTuber. He does like rappers impersonation, and he usually uses beats. So I sent him the beats, and most of the time they were beats from my YouTube. So he was putting the link in the description for me, and every time he was dropping a video, my subscriber count was like going up. Super, because he was dropping a video. He drops a video like one every 3 months, and always does like millions. So every time he was dropping a video, I was like, wow.
So you think this stuff is key then, for sure? Like, social media influence is a real thing. If you can work it out where it's not like, hey, I need 20 grand for this post, unless it's like Kim Kardashian or somebody. I mean, you know what I mean? But so this stuff works, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a fan of it. Okay. Kato, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had a situation over a year ago where, are you guys familiar with that dude, It's Real, on YouTube? He makes those like funny ass Grand Theft Auto videos, and he used a song that I produced for Jaron Benton called Hater Like You. He used it in one of his videos called Freddy Krueger in the Hood. And it got tens of millions of views across all social media platforms. And to this day, I get mad people blowing up my YouTube channel and everywhere telling me that it's real, sent them to my page. So, and I didn't even have to pay for that. I made it a free download like 2 years ago, and I guess he got his hands on it and he used it in his video. And
now, are you collecting on that content ID? Are you?
Recently, I've started collecting on
Perfect.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So there's still ways to make money, even though it's a freebie.
Even with a free download. So it definitely works. And if you establish relationships, or just sometimes you get lucky and you make shit a free download, and as long as it's good and people fuck with it, then you have situations like that where they'll use it and they'll drive traffic to your channel and blow up the view count on your song or your beat.
I think that's like the key point here. I think sometimes producers, artists, any type of profession really, if you don't have the best type of content and you haven't perfected your sound and really know who you are and what your voice and your brand is, I kind of feel like sometimes people just make content and just throw it up there, and they think just jumping on social media promoting it is having a strategy. I think you got to focus on the content first, and you have to have good content and a steady influx of it, and at least have it on deck to have a plan for all this stuff. It's not just, doing and throwing it up and be like, well, it's not working. Like, I'm adding people, I'm posting my stuff on Twitter, no one's, there has to be a plan here, and the content has to be good. So focus on the content first, and the social media stuff will fall in place, I feel like, once you actually have all that stuff done first. So my last question before we take some questions from people, SoundCloud, are you guys, I'm sure you've used SoundCloud. Are you still using it? Has it helped drive people to buy beats, build brand awareness? I mean, how's your following on there? Is it something you think you have to do? I'll start with Cash Money. I mean, are you using SoundCloud?
Yeah, I do use SoundCloud a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially with the BeatStars feature, like usually when I post the free beats online on YouTube, to download the beat on my BeatStars, they have to like follow me on like YouTube or SoundCloud or Twitter. So for like 6 months, I made them like follow me on SoundCloud, and I went from 5,000 subs to like 30,000 in 6 months.
Wow.
And then with this draft, with those new subscribers, when I was like posting beats on SoundCloud, it was getting like I can't say more than what my YouTube is doing, but it was getting a good amount of listens. Because before it was good. Before it was good, but after this, what I did with BeatStars like start blowing up, and it's like it's always like a way to make money, because the traffic coming from BeatStars, from SoundCloud is different. They are different, the new wave of SoundCloud rappers. So yeah, different.
And are you monetizing your SoundCloud too?
Yes, I am.
All right. Kato, what are you doing with SoundCloud?
I don't really fuck with SoundCloud for my beats.
Come on, man. Be more honest.
I definitely upload original music that I produce for artists on my SoundCloud. And again, if the music is good, then that subscriber count just constantly grows, So, yeah, short answer.
And you're monetizing your SoundCloud too?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Do you guys, before I open up the questions, do you guys have anything else you want to touch on that I missed, or, in the short hour that we had? Either of you?
No pressure.
No? You guys are good? All right, cool. We'll open up some questions. I'll pull the mic over here so everybody can be heard. Does anybody have questions? I would hope so. No? Do you want to yell or do you want to come down? It's up to you.
I'll stand.
Okay, perfect.
I want your rate. I saw that the hashtag BeatStars submit. Is that only for beats, or are you also looking for like artists and music?
The BeatStars, what was it?
The BeatStars music, is that only for beats?
No, BeatStars is for everybody. Music, Jesus. Producers, artists. Yeah, I mean, you can, the platform's for everybody, absolutely. Any social media questions? Oh, man. There you go.
Do any of you guys use Facebook?
Kato, do you want to take that? I mean, I do for various different things, but yeah, lookalikes are great. I mean, as long as your first audience is what you need and what you're looking for, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a way to experiment and kind of see what works and what doesn't. Listen, advertising is just testing, man. It's a lot of testing. It's just trying stuff out, different copies, different forms of videos. I mean, look at Kato's Facebook, man. I love his stuff that he does. Abe brought it up, like some of the videos he does. He has the words, almost like meme-style videos and stuff like, who would you hear killing this beat? Like,
Yeah.
different copies, different types of video content, different audiences. It's just all testing stuff out, man. You're gonna fail a bunch. It's just, don't get discouraged. I mean, got to put a budget aside for it, and you got to keep doing it.
And you know what it is, like, when it comes to just creating new content, I look at what a lot of other people are doing, and not in the music world, just what other social media influencers are doing, and I take the same concept and I apply it to what I'm doing, you know? And I figure out creative ways to, that's why I do the memes, because you see, I mean, you scroll up and down your Facebook feed and most of them are gonna be like meme videos or like pictures and stuff like that. So you can do the same thing as a producer, just make your beat videos into a meme, or like ask people to tag someone that would kill your beat.